Yo, what's going down, new Fighting Order fans? It's your boy D Mizzle Farizzle coming at you with the podcast for September the 12th, 2013. I'm joined here, as always, by Nelson Rios, my brother New, my brother Shenwar. What's going on, everybody?
Yo, what's going on?
Sup.
Alright, we got a couple of topics here, but inconspicuous with his absence is Alex Lexus. He's down in Texas doing his training thing for the military. He's about to deploy soon, so best of luck to him. And there's a topic that I want to get off my chest, coming straight from the vest. Like, I've been wanting, it's this bias that's been going around the video game journalism sphere for the past week or so, because they've been trashing Microsoft while praising Sony for doing the exact same thing as Microsoft. And an instance of this is this Sony PPE that they're releasing, which is essentially their version of a Roku. And what it does is allows the person to play PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 stream videos. And Sony's getting a lot of praise for this, but Microsoft essentially got trashed for offering the same features in the Xbox One, and it just doesn't sit well with me. I want to know what everybody else thought about this. So, Shenwar, what do you think about this bias that's been going on in the media? This anger directed at Microsoft.
And yet Sony basically did the same thing. You know, it's monkey see, monkey do. And I think Nelson mentioned this a few podcasts ago. It's like they're copying off one another. So, you know, the playing field is definitely leveled and it is the same. I think the media, you know, blowing a lot of stuff out of proportion and all that. But, and this is not being biased, even though, you know, I'm down with Microsoft. I just think that, you know, their product is definitely innovative. Even when they mentioned everything when it first came out, you know, they was talking about the DRM. I was already still gonna get an Xbox One despite whatever. So when they made those changes, I was like, okay, that's cool. You know, it's whatever, because I was already gonna get one. But yeah, you know, everybody's gonna have their opinion about it. That's all I got to say about that.
I'll readily admit, man, you're more of a down with Microsoft than I was, because when they announced that DRM, I was like, whoa, calm out, brother. I was like, if it's going to do that, I'm going to build a gaming PC, but obviously they got rid of that, so I'm back on the team again. But, Newt, what do you think about this bias that's been going around? At least how you see it, because this is just how I see it.
I mean, the bias is going to keep bouncing around. Sony fans are going to go with Sony. Microsoft is going to go with Microsoft. I think most of the backlash that Microsoft received for its TV and streaming features, I think it got that because at the reveal, people thought they were going to get what they usually got. And I'm actually glad Microsoft revealed their system the way they revealed it. They wanted to, I mean, when the new system comes out, it's a given that you're going to have new games, you're going to have exclusive games, and the games are going to look better. We already know that. That's already expected. So Microsoft was like, you know what? Let's show them what else the console will be able to do. You know, justify why I need to spend $500 on something. You know, because honestly, in my opinion, $500 just to play video games isn't enough anymore. Not for $500. That's a lot. So I think a lot of people gave backlash from that, and they didn't really want to buy into it. And then the fact that Sony turns around and now they're saying they're doing it, and I'm still skeptical about Sony and a couple things about Microsoft too, because of some of the features for both systems. They're saying, oh, we will eventually be able to do this, but such and such won't be available at launch. Like I know Sony, I believe, don't quote me, I think they said streaming videos or something. So one of their video features is not going to be available at launch. And I read the other day that Microsoft Xbox One will support external hard drives, but that's not available at launch either. But the interesting thing to me is Microsoft has already stepped out and showed us their new features and showed us that they work. we've seen it done, we've seen it proven. Sony's done a lot of talking and saying we can do this, we can do that, but I don't think they've shown as much, in my opinion. I think that the Xbox One has gotten a lot more exposure, and that has me a little bit skeptical. And that's all I gotta say about that, Jack.
Stone Cold.
And that's the bottom line, cause New Bay said so.
Shut up.
But I agree with you, like, cause like I'm 32 years old, and like if I'm gonna drop $500, even $400 on a PlayStation 4, I gotta know what else it's gonna do besides play games, because I can play games any day of the week. What are you gonna, like, I gotta know what else you can do, and like, as you said, Microsoft showed that, like, at their reveal, and I was like, a lot of people were down on it, like, oh, it was just TV, VCR, sports, and I'm like, that's great, because at least I know where they're coming from, what they want to do differently other than play games, because and the other shows like the shows to get they used to be able to get all that, like, the other features out of the way, which was a good thing in my opinion, but a lot of people didn't see that.
Can I chime in again?
Go for it.
I need to chime in again because I think what we tend to forget sometimes, we get so caught up on the entertainment side of things, we forget that this is a business. You know what I mean? This is a business. At the end of the day, they're trying to make money. And you mentioned that sports thing. Like, dude, do you know how crazy people are over in sports? Like, I live in South Carolina, and people talk about Clemson and USC all day, every day. Like, I go to gas stations, and the gas station to be divided. Half have Clemson paraphernalia, half have USC paraphernalia. And I think Microsoft realizes the importance of sports to America, and as a culture, we are sports junkies. So to have a console, you know, because we have those gamers who just buy sports games. Like, I have homeboys who will buy the next generation console, and all they will have is NBA and NFL. The whole console. They may buy 1 or 2 games here, but that's all they'll buy. So if that's all they buy, and they know they can do it on PS4, and they know they can do it on Xbox One, what's a deciding factor? Wow, Xbox One is catering to the NFL fans and college fans. They're probably going to lean towards that system. It's a smart move. You know what I mean? You gotta find a different way to one-up your competition. Oh, I have better graphics. That matters, but it doesn't matter as much anymore when you start talking about money and features. So that was another good strike by Microsoft, I would say.
Alright, I fully agree, because same way here in Southern Virginia, like, you walk into a gas station, you got Virginia Tech stuff, and you got University of Virginia stuff just everywhere. And that's all people, like, that's all people talking about, like, UVA and Tech. Like, it was almost a fight at the gas station up the street from my house between two, like, college football. But enough about college football. That's another show for another time. And I want to get Nelson's point of view on this bias that's going on.
Well, well, my opinion is basically, as I was saying before the podcast started.
We can't hear you.
How can you not hear me? I'm talking directly in my mic.
Yo, you're mad low. Go ahead.
Alright, can y'all hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Alright. So basically, I was saying though, a lot of people is just gonna go with the concept of like, okay, whoever brought out the latest news is gonna be the hot topic button. Like basically the whole PlayStation TV. Everyone is all over it because that's what they just released before the Tokyo Game Show. Not many other news has really spread like wildfire besides the Vita being compatible with it, and also the fact that you're able to streamline PlayStation 1, PlayStation Vita, and a possible of playing PlayStation 3 games over the cloud system. But in the sense of it all, people's going to have their opinion on whatever console they want. And if people decide to go with PS4, good luck to y'all riding it out for 6 months. And people who goes for Xbox One, y'all going to be good, period, because you're getting everything right off the bat.
Alright, that's what's up. And that kind of leads into that segues perfectly into the next topic, is the the games that are coming out at launch. Because yes, we're gonna have the cross-platform games, your NBA 2Ks, NBA Lives, Maddens, all that stuff. But what I want to focus on is the exclusives. And Microsoft, in my opinion, is coming like real hard with the exclusives. And anytime Sony announced an exclusive at E3, at Gamescom, at PAX, and like having gotten like sort of a semi-preview of their TGS show, there's been nothing but indie games and like, oh, first launch on the PlayStation 4. I'm like, great, it's gonna be out on the PlayStation 4 first, but it's eventually gonna come out on the Xbox One. Why are you showing me all these indie games? Why can't you show me what you have exclusive to your console besides Killzone, DAC, and Drive Club? And people's talking about the Order. There hasn't been any gameplay footage of the Order, so please stop like holding that over everybody's head. Show me some game footage of the Order before that comes out your mouth. But I want to see some more from Sony, like, because as Nelson said, like, PlayStation 4 owners are like, yeah, I'm getting this for $400. You gonna play? Unless you're a diehard fan, unless you like are that hyped up on NAC, or unless Drive Club really gets you in the mood to play some exclusives, like your exclusive choices are going to be limited to these indie games. And while they look good, I'll admit that it's not what I want to drop $100 for on a console to play an indie game, especially when I can download the same game off of Steam on a computer, which most like console owners do have. So, Newt, what do you think about this disparity of exclusives between the two consoles?
Dude, Microsoft bust Sony in the head to the white meat when it came to this. And that's just my opinion.
To the white meat.
I mean, they took Forza, one of their lead titles. Yo, don't start, yo. Don't start. Yo, shut up. They took that. I mean, you have that. I mean, look, Forza, Dead Rising, and oh my God, and Killer Instinct alone. Those three alone just carry it for me. They just carry it. And beyond that, Microsoft is not scared to show the console. They're out. Their console has been on national television. People have played it. People have got their hands on it. It's gotten so much more exposure, and they're building so much more around it. Sony is still kind of, in my opinion, kind of cloaked in mystery. You know, it's like some people have gotten their hands on the console and on the controller, and they said it feels nice and feels good and all that. But I'm like, I want to see some people playing this thing, like, you know, and their games just aren't. They're released. Their launch titles anyway just aren't doing it for me. Like, they're just not doing it for me. And that at the end of the day, we want to play games. You know, we want to play games. We want to play the best games. So when it comes to exclusives, because that's what we have to look at, not like the cross-platform games. Dude, Microsoft has that in the smash, so there's like no way Sony would be able to beat that on release. Now, Sony did say they want to release, I think, 33 games within the first year?
Yeah.
And Microsoft says 23, I'm looking at it. So
yeah, and like the thing is, like, Microsoft, they pretty much said like pretty much 18 of these retail games, like these original IPs and new exclusives are gonna be retail games. They're not gonna be like Xbox Live Arcade games. Whereas Sony hasn't really clarified how many are gonna be retail and how many are gonna be PlayStation Network games. So that's another thing that, like you said, is cloaked in mystery. But and to another point, like you said, Microsoft system is always out there, and like like every time you see like Killer Instinct video at Evo, you see Matt, shout out to him, on YouTube playing Killer Instinct with Double Helix guys, and you see Battlegrounds Killer Instinct stuff, and you see this a lot of gameplay videos of the exclusive. You see Forza 5 gameplay, you see Dead Rising 3 gameplay, you see like Sunset Overdrive, like how that's starting to come along, and it's just out there, it's just in your face, and like you disseminate the information how you want, but it's out there for dissemination. Whereas Sony stuff, they're just showing you a lot of indie games, and I'm like, okay, great, show me a real game.
And I got an article saying that 18 PS4 launch titles will be available only as downloadable games, while the remaining 15 will be sold on physical media in stores or as download from Sony's console. So 18 of those titles are downloadable games. Yeah, Planet Side 2, N++, and a few more. But when you look at the exclusives, man, I mean, Rise, even Rise looks good. That's not normally my type of game. But,
yeah, it looks tight.
Yeah, and then I'm really excited for Project Spark, yo. Just seeing the videos of that and what some of the stuff you can do, and just knowing that I can create my own games, that's crazy.
Alright, that's what's up. Shinwar, what do you think about this disparity between the two companies in terms of their exclusives? What's going on with you on that?
Hey, you know what? I'm a pass on that one. I'm a pass on that one.
You say you gotta pass gas on that one.
I said I'm a pass on that one, Kirby.
Oh.
Alright, Nelson, what's going on with you on this, man?
You know what? No, real quick. I did just want to bring up the commercial, the Xbox One commercial. That had no mention, no thing about video games. How do you guys feel about that?
I haven't seen it yet, so I can't comment on it.
I ain't seen
it.
Yeah,
it's on YouTube.
Alright, I'll have to check that out, but we'll bring that up at the next podcast, because I definitely want to see it now that you brought it up. Alright, Nelson, what do you think about the two company stances when it comes to exclusive games after launch? And within that window, which is about 4 or 5 months?
Well, basically, it's a no-brainer. Xbox One just has the better exclusive games on launch date than Sony, because as I was just saying, not long ago, you have to literally sit there and think about this choice you're gonna make by November. You're gonna get a console that's worth either $400 or $500. Yeah, it's $100 difference, but you're getting more out of a particular console than the other. Even though now they're sitting there going back and forth with the similarities and oh, we got to put this in this since they did that, or let's put the things that they have in their Connect and put it in the Sony Eye now and do this. But the games for the PlayStation 4, you guys only have about a good 4 to 5 games at launch, and everything else, just like what Noop said, is downloadable. And he mentioned games that was already on the PlayStation 3 that's just getting a re-release in HD. That, to me, that's not a game. That's just a way so Sony can be like, yeah, we have more games out. So that doesn't stroll with me at all.
Yeah.
With the Xbox, you have Killer Instinct, Dead Rising, Forza, you have the Need for Speed game, all the sports titles. You have Titanfall. You have all these games that are coming out. And PlayStation 3, I hear a lot of people, especially co-workers, people on Xbox Live, and people within our community, and say oh, no, PlayStation 4 is going to be better. It has better graphics. Oh, you don't have to pay for online, which isn't true. But a lot of people are Sony fans because either, one, they grew up with the console, or two, they just find it to be more simplistic than it would be for the Xbox. But I don't know. My opinion is, I've been saying it from day one, Xbox One is just going to dominate no matter what time or where and what point it comes out. It's just going to win within the first 6 to 7 months. And then after that, Sony will play catch up, and then we'll see who actually wins that war.
Alright, that's what's up, man. You brought up another thing in your spiel there is about the PlayStation Eye for the PlayStation 4 not having similar features to the Microsoft Kinect. And the thing is that even though you're getting the Kinect with the Xbox One, you're not going to get the PlayStation Eye with the PlayStation 4. And they said that they're releasing the tech demo that they showed that you'll be able to play with. And the majority of that stuff requires the PlayStation 4. And I think Sony is digging themselves into a hole because while the Kinect is standard equipment on the on the Xbox One, meaning every person will have it straight out the box. That's not the case for the PlayStation Eye. And as a developer, you have a decision that you've got to make. If you want to develop for the PlayStation Eye, you have to, like, okay, how many people actually own this thing? And two, I have to make a game that appeals to people to the point where if they don't own it, it makes them want to go out and buy this extra peripheral in addition to my game. So you're asking them to drop. How much is the PlayStation Eye? Like $60, $70? You're asking them to drop $130 just to play your game if they don't have that peripheral. And we all know how peripherals do that aren't standard equipment in terms of people making games for them. They can't go out and make the game that they want to make because they have to appeal to everybody and get people to... They essentially have to use their game as a Trojan horse for them to buy this peripheral. Whereas with the Kinect, everybody already has one, so a developer can go make the game that they want to make and not have to worry about if a person has the equipment or not. It's like, okay, all I have to do now is just make a game that makes people want to use the Kinect, and that's it. It's one goal versus like 3 or 4 goals for PlayStation Eye, and I wanted to get your opinion on that. So, Newt, what do you think about that?
Well, it's a sticky situation. I've mentioned it on past podcasts that I think the Sony camera is $60. I think it's gonna suffer and it's gonna lose out because, like you said, as a developer, it's good to know that when I'm developing this game, everybody has, the Xbox camera. They have it unless they sell it or whatever because it's not required anymore. But I can go in thinking and knowing, okay, let me throw in a little cool Kinect thing or do that. Whereas another company who may be that same company could be developing the same game for a Sony console. It's like, do I want to add Sony Eye, effects or Sony camera effects to this game? And, if I do, will it benefit me or will my company lose out because so few people actually own it that, ended up not, being worth the time of development? And then you have to look at it. What if only a small percentage of people do that? Sony, you got to support that. So you don't want to screw your customers, out of their money by buying a product that doesn't get that much support. So, though Microsoft had to take the hit by charging more for their system, I think in the long run it was a smarter move because if you look at today's technology, there's a camera on everything. We love Skype, we love Google, FaceTime, we love streaming videos, shooting videos, all that stuff. And so, shut up. So at the end of the day, the Microsoft camera wasn't a bad idea. It isn't a bad idea. And I think even if people don't use it for gaming purposes, they're going to use it. So that's the thing. Like, I don't, people say there's $100 difference between the consoles. I look at it as more of a $40 difference because I don't think you're getting the full Sony experience, if you don't get the PlayStation camera, in my opinion. And that's another $60 you got to add on to your console. So, but now I will say one thing is kind of, I don't know, it's a good feature, but you don't have to have a PlayStation 4 subscription in order to use your streaming features like Hulu and Netflix. I thought that was very generous of them. But other than that...
Like, and you bring up an interesting point that Sony has to support it, because, like, they made a big deal about it during their reveal, like, oh, we're going to have our controller, like, be recognized by the eye, and the eye's going to recognize where the controller is, and this and that. And you're going to have to support this device after making a big deal out of it, and you don't know how many people are going to actually go out and get it. So you're going to support this device that you have no idea how many people are going to get it. So, Shinwar, what do you think about the 2 cameras, especially with the Eye coming out saying that they're going to have similar features to the Kinect?
Well, it's not like we're being forced to buy the PlayStation Eye. Sony made it optional which I think is great, and I'm still not too thrilled, even though I know the intent behind it with Microsoft with bundling the Kinect. I mean, like I said, all you guys know that I really don't care for it, but you guys are right at the same time when you're like, you know what, there's going to come a day when you're sitting there and you're going to be intrigued on what it can do and how it works. And you may never know. There may be some people that may like it. And I may be one of them. I don't own a Kinect now. I've seen videos on YouTube, and Alex, we all know Alex Lexus owns one. And, we've seen the stuff that he did. But I think the Kinect is very superior, especially in the technology. In regards to the PlayStation Eye, I really haven't seen anything that the PlayStation Eye can do. So I'm only well versed with the Kinect. I've used it in Best Buy and all that stuff. That is cool. But yeah, I mean, I think it's better than the PlayStation Eye. But we'll see.
Right. And you hit home a great point, because it's like you will get curious. Like, how many people do you know that have bought stuff that has pack-in stuff and not gotten at least a little bit curious about what that pack-in is, even if they never initially use it, they'll eventually use it once or twice just to see what it does.
Yeah. And the thing is with that, since you already own the Kinect, you don't have to go out and buy one. So that's cool.
Exactly.
But with the PlayStation, it's like, if I wanted to use it, I still have to drop another $100. Even though it's messing with your mind, because with Microsoft, it's bundled with it, but you're already paying an extra $100. With Sony, it's like, okay, if I want one, well, I gotta go shell it out a little bit later or separately. So that's it.
All right. Let's move on to Brother Nelson. Well, looks like Newt wants to say something, so go ahead, get it off your chest before we get to Nelson.
Get off your chest, yo.
Shut up, yo. One more quick thing, like what Shinwa was saying with packing stuff, and what you were saying with packing stuff. Again, yeah, the intrigue, and then again, just look at the culture. Exercise is very big now. They try to there's all these sports apps, and you have wristwatch and stuff like that. With the Kinect camera having that full body motion, again, they're trying to appeal to a broader audience. Because one thing I will admit, I truly, I was in love with my Nintendo Wii for about 3 months, because I love the motion controls and I love the games. It was so fun to play some of those motion games. Wii Sports was my favorite game on the Wii. I love the tennis, but I couldn't truly fall in love with the console, because beyond that it was just every other motion control game was and then the game support for it to me was so I ended up selling it with 25 games and all the peripherals you can think of to my sister for $1.50. So I'm thinking now, I just played the Wii the other day and I was playing tennis, and I was like, dang, I might be doing this on my Xbox One soon. And I would love that. I would love to, I love my sports games and stuff like that, but I would rather use a Kinect and play a tennis game than have a controller in my hand. There's just certain experiences that I know I would like to try to have. I still fantasize about that first-person shooter game where I can use the Kinect and run in place and my character run. And they can read my heartbeat. And shut up. And it says they can read your heartbeat. So if my beats per minute get too high, my character on the screen actually gets fatigued until my beats per minute go down. That'd be hot.
Beats by Dre.
I'm here, no.
Alright, go ahead, Joe.
No, I'm done. But I'm just saying, that's intriguing to me, because to me, for them to be confident enough to pack this in the system, they're basically saying, we're pushing this, we're supporting this, we're not going to give you a BS peripheral. We want this to go with the life of the console. They said every Xbox One will come with one. So it's going to get heavy support, and that's what has me excited.
Alright, that's what it is. That's what's up. And Nelson, what do you think about the PlayStation Eye being able to do similar things to the Kinect?
I honestly think it's a waste of time, because the PlayStation Eye wasn't a success during the PlayStation 3 era, and it's definitely not going to be a success now, because one, they're still behind the market. They just now started putting speech recognition where the console could now turn on, just like how the Xbox One could. and also other similar stuff. But the console to me is still, it would be better if it came bundled with the camera because I would have got more use out of it in my sense. But now you're sitting here like, oh, we don't really need it, but you can still buy it. Though we're not putting any interest in it, it's still out there and it's still available. People are just going to be like, okay, fuck that. I'm going to still go with the Kinect because it's bundled with the console. I don't have to pay for it. And I can use it whenever I want because it will be like right there packaged together. And they actually made use of the Kinect. Unlike the PlayStation 4's camera, they haven't shown anything you can do with it. Nor did they show anything of the games or the console, except for that one little trailer that they had before Tokyo Game Show showing like this 4-minute clip of what you can do with the Vita, the PlayStation TV, and the whole PlayStation 4 thing or whatever. That's like it.
Alright, well, general consensus is Sony fucking up with the PlayStation Eye. But moving on to another topic that just came to my attention is that Capcom is in a very, very bad way. They're like dire straits, possibly going out of business because they got a lot of stuff that they're riding on, cashing in, but according to some reports, they got about $125 million in their bank accounts, and that's it, in liquid assets. And that's not a good thing for a big company like Capcom. So let's discuss the ramifications of Capcom needing a lot of things to hit in order for them to not go out of business. So let's start with Shinwar because I know he's a big Capcom head, and this is a topic that's near and dear to his heart. So go ahead, Shinwar. Let's hear it.
Yo, Dave, you got a nice way of fabricating things, but Capcom. It feels like a lot of things are biting Capcom in their rear. With this whole thing and this whole money issue. Capcom for a very long time has been the forefront of the fighting game genre, and in a few other genres, but they're very best and well known for the fighting game genre. And everybody knows with that Street Fighter Cross Tekken, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And but you know what? Real quick, I also read somewhere that they said that if older games that they produce is still in its glory, and people are still playing it, they would make content for those games, for the fans, and in their respective communities. And I think that was cool. I think hopefully that could generate more money for them, but they just got to get it together, man. They got to get it together. And that whole debacle with Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and everybody knows with the constant iterations of the same game, even though I am excited about Ultra, hopefully they'll fix a lot of stuff from the past, from the previous games. But I don't want to see them tank, and I don't want to see them go down, like Sega. But I hope they rise to the occasion and get back to being number one in the fighting game genre. So we'll see.
All right, good stuff. And New, what do you think about this potential Capcom Titanic situation that's going on? Step to the mic, brother.
Capcom, what can I say? I have a love-hate relationship with you, and I would hate to see you go. Can I get CBS 3 before you go? Because at least I know it'll be done right with you and you still involved, truthfully involved. It's sad, but I can't think of. DMC was like the last big Capcom game that I enjoyed, and most other people actually didn't. Cross Tekken, like Shinmar said, was a burn. So, I'll miss them, but I kind of won't. But they've been making dumb decisions, like, look like the Lost Planet franchise. Why does that franchise have 3 games? From what I've heard, it flopped, and the second one was terrible. And yet you decide to make a third. Like, what? Who's in charge? Like, There's like bad business going on over there, man. But I mean, they have an iconic name. I think their reputation hinged mostly upon what they used to do rather than what they do now, and I think that's what the issue was. So, sorry.
Damn, no love from New. Damn, just cold. Alright, Nelson, what do you think about Capcom potentially going away to Dinosaur, man? Is this a good thing or a bad thing?
Both. It's a good and bad thing because I'll say the good first. The good thing is if the company does stand and it does make its potential investments work and they get their monies back, then people will still be happy. They'll still be playing their beloved Capcom games that they will waste and drain money out. Spending like probably $200 on updates and DLC for a Capcom game. People will be happy and enjoy it. But the thing that I'm going to go favor for is the bad. Reason being is because then it will allow other people, I'm going to express this in the words of the fighting game community. It would be better for other people to get more fond of other companies such as SNK, Namco, Arc System Works, Double Helix, and all these other third-party companies that has not been like top known, such as Capcom. And I personally feel that a lot of people has been accommodated and so fond of nothing but Street Fighter and Marvel and all this other shit, and no one else has gotten the chance to branch off and play, let's say, games like Last Blade, Melty Blood, Blaze Blue, Killer Instinct, Kings of Fighters. There's just so many games that are out that people don't even know of, and I would just like to see that get, excuse me, I would like to see that get a little popularity, but then again, no one likes to see a company fall. No one likes to see any company that's put in work in history go to waste. But it is Capcom's fault if they do vanish, and they only have themselves to blame.
Like, I agree with you that it is their fault if they do go away, because I'm going to bring up an example. Yeah, everybody knows who KJ Inafune is. He's the guy who made Mega Man. And he left Capcom because they shuttered his project, which was Mega Man Legends 3, and a lot of people were looking forward to that. And he recently started a Kickstarter on a project that's very similar to Mega Man called The Mighty Number 9. And on Twitter, a Capcom representative was asked about how does he think it'll do, and the representative, I don't know if he's being a smartass or anything like that, said, "We'll see." Well, within a day, the Mighty Number 9 reached its Kickstarter goal of $7,500,000. And to date, it's got well over $2 million in funding, which is the stretch goal for Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3 versions. So that just shows that the crowd wants video game fans want what they want, and they're willing to pay for it. And Capcom seems blind for this. Could you imagine how many people would run out there and get Capcom versus SNK 3, like Nupe said?
Oh my god.
Like, it's crazy. And I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Let's say Capcom does fold. Can you honestly see, and their properties are going to get bidded on and sold to whoever can afford them. Can you honestly see another company doing Street Fighter? Can you honestly see another company doing Devil May Cry? Can you honestly see another company doing a Marvel game? It's just...
Nope.
It's just things that you don't think about that's like, wow, could you really see SNK doing a Street Fighter game? Well, they did do a Street Fighter game that sucked, but...
Yeah.
Can you see Arc Systems doing a Street Fighter game? Can you see Double Helix doing a Marvel game?
Neither realm doing a Marvel game.
Yo, I'm getting off, yo. Leave my company alone, yo.
Oh, that's your company
what?
now?
I'm siding with them, yo. Nobody wants to take their side, yo. Them pre-pressed combos, yo.
Could you see like an infamous style Marvel game not done by Capcom, and it's like, it's just something that you it's something that you don't want to think about, but it can actually come to pass, which is very scary.
What I wonder is this: why don't more of these companies take greater advantage of the fact that we have consoles that we're playing, and we now have a dashboard system. Just the same way they advertise sales. Hey, Capcom wants to give away, well, back when they're doing Microsoft points, you get 10 Microsoft points for answering this Capcom survey. What's an old franchise you would like to see relived? Or vote on the... Capcom is wondering which new, game they want to bring back or whatever. Vote. You know what I mean? Like, come directly to us and ask us what we want. Like, trying to assume, it's hard to assume. You can't assume anymore, because now it's a day and age where, back in the day, you could put out 3 or 4 stinkers and still put out one good game and be okay. Now, you got one chance. You put out a bad game, your company's done. You're shutting down. So
you know
it's
what
like...
You know what else? This is the age of Kickstarter, man. The gamer truly has a voice now, because you got these like high profile people going off doing their own thing, and like, hey, alright, since I know I can't afford to do this, let's get some crowdfunding in here and let's ask the fans what they want to see, because if they don't want to see it, they're not going to fund it. But if they behind the project 100%, like this Mighty Number 9, you're going to see funds just pouring in, $2 million in 2 weeks. That lets you know that people want to see this game, that there's a market for it. And I think that's like something that these big publishers should take advantage of. Like, don't do their big games via Kickstarter, but use crowdfunding to get your mid-level games out there, because that means that the gamer has a vested interest in seeing it done, that they want to see it done properly. Not like, okay, let's sit in a board meeting and like, okay, what do we think is the new hotness out there? What do we think gamers want? Go to Kickstarter, put up an idea. If a lot of people fund it, like, hey, this is what they want, so let's make it, I think that would be a good thing for publishers in the upcoming development cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there anything else that anybody wants to talk about? Because we got the series finale of Burn Notice coming in about 15 minutes.
And when we say series finale, that's it.
That is it. Done. Finito. Finished. No mas. But, is there anything else that anybody wants to get off their chest while we got the podcast going on?
Yo, chill, yo.
Nah, I'm done, yo. I'm done.
Alright, Nelson, I know you got something to say as always, so come with it, brother.
Just basically for people who are going to be watching this on the YouTube channel, just subscribe to the channel. We could use more of the following, so we could try to become partners with YouTube and get a better viewing, so we can actually give back to the community. We really stress that. And also I've been hearing a lot of fans asking us, oh, are we going to EVO? Are we going to E3? Are we going to Comic-Con? We honestly don't have the money to invest into these events as much as we would like to. But if you would like us to be there, you can always help us out by donating to the channel. And if you guys are cool with that, I can give you guys a link, or Alex Lexus can help you out with that as well. And you can help us get there, and we can give you the coverage that you guys want to see from our perspective. So if you guys want that to happen, just leave a comment below, and we'll see what we can make happen. But it's not like we don't want to, it's just that we physically are not able to draw all these fundings to just go, here and there all the time. So just to throw that out there.
Alright, well, as I also said, if we get enough funding, we can do Kickstarter as well. Get some crowdfunding going to send us to EVO, Comic-Con, and these other events. If you want to see us there, donate the money. We'll be there for you. So this is the NFO Podcast of September 12th, 2013. And as I said at the beginning of the show, big shout out to Alex Lexus down in Texas doing his thing. And that's it. That's a wrap. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.